name is Wes. You're welcome to call me that. My online persona, what I use for most things, is the name Folst. You can call me that. DM, hey, you, whatever. I don't care. I respond to just about anything. But that is me. I have been playing D&D since 3rd edition, which usually at a table puts me at like one of the longest playing players, but I think I'm probably 3rd longest of this group. And I've been DMing since 3rd edition, and I've been like practically a forever DM until the last couple of years, where I started topping on some games, getting to play for a little while. Last campaign I did was probably two and a half year long campaign, Dungeons of the Mad Mage. So I'm ready to jump back into my own custom worlds of DMing. So that's me. Anybody else wish to like say hi to everybody? Let us know who you are.
Sure, I can say hi to y'all. My name's Keith. I started playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition in the late 80s, and then stopped playing Dungeons and Dragons, and when I came back we were on 5th edition, and I've been playing for about 3-4 years, and Wes is on one of my Tuesday night crews. So yeah.
I'm Devin. I've been playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons off and on. I've played pretty much every version so far. I haven't played 2024 yet. I haven't even really looked at it till this came up. I think I started playing with Wes in 3.5. Wasn't that right?
Yeah, tail end of 3.5.
I was playing the Tree Man.
Yes, you did.
In this world, I think, wasn't it?
It was. That's right. Devin is my longest running player that's in this world.
Oh God. Yeah, that has been one a while ago. That's about it.
Awesome. Thank you, Devin.
You're welcome.
I guess that leaves myself. Pleasure to meet you guys. You can call me Caveman or Eric. Eric's my real name. I go by Caveman online for just about everything, including a YouTube channel I just started called Caveman Gaming. I might throw a link out here for that in a little bit if you guys are interested. Sounds like I'm the newest to playing D&D. I started in 2018 with 5e, but I feel like I have just about as much experience as maybe some of you, as I play a lot, like too much. Recently did a little expo here in the city where I was running games, got to play beside Deborah Ann Wool, which was awesome. In a couple weeks, I'm heading to Edmonton to run some games of Tales of the Valiant for Kobold Press, which is something that's very exciting. I played with Wes and what's
It goes by
his name?
Phasmus online, but it's Caleb.
Caleb, yeah. Played with those two in a pay-to-play game. Did we play through two campaigns together?
We did one full campaign. The second one kind of sort of had to end.
True. Yes. It felt like two because it took long, but we missed a lot of sessions. But yeah, very excited to be here and play some more D&D with you guys.
Sweet. Awesome. Thanks, guys. All right, so I'll kick things off. I haven't done a session zero in a long time, so I'm going to do my best here. All right, so I've got my notes here in front of me. I'm going to do my best to go through them. Hopefully I'll hit my high points here. I mean, we've all been playing D&D for a while, so it's not like you need a lot of hand-holding, so that really helps. But I just want to kind of cover some stuff ahead of time. I'll get this elephant out of the way because it kind of addresses a couple things. I don't know who here is like familiar with Critical Role, Dimension 20, those types of things. I'm not going to try to stand up to those standards by any means. I don't think of myself as the next Matt Mercer like some people do. I've had some DMs that think they were. It's rough.
Well, I'm out of here.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. But I do want you to know that I have an overall story. Not every part of the campaign is going to be the overall story, but I think that the plan that I have in place doesn't need to influence character concepts. I say that because, like, I look at like the third season of Critical Role, which I didn't even finish. I kind of got out of it, where it felt like the DM had a type of campaign and all the players wanted to do something that was very counter to what the DM had. Like the DM has this like, we need to save the gods campaign, and then every player had a reason to hate the gods. And I don't think that was intended. It seemed to mess up their thing. So I don't really have anything quite like that, other than the fact that I kind of expect everybody to want to at least adventure. You don't have to want to be a heroic adventurer. You don't have to want to be a hero of the realm, but there's no reason why you can't be. Like, I don't have a plan right now that says I am going to prop you up to be the heroes of this realm, and everyone around the world's going to know you. That doesn't necessarily have to be the case. Doesn't mean it can't, but that's not like I don't have any plans like that where you have to worry that your character concept will be counter to that. The theme of the campaign, like I have a plan, I've got a little bit of an outline, but the theme, I mean, it can get dark, it can get wacky, it can be serious, it can be funny. I don't really mind. However, the group kind of flows with it. However, you guys, I'll go with the flow. It doesn't necessarily matter to me. I like to have fun. Hopefully, everybody likes to have fun. I think we all do. By the way, stop me anytime you guys want to talk about things. There's definitely going to be plenty of opportunity for things like missions and quests and that sort of thing. I like posted a mechanic that I've got in world to literally go up and say, give me a quest, and it'll give you a quest. And that's just there so that we can, have those little one-off adventures if you want to. They might kick into larger things. You never know. Yeah, there's plenty of opportunity to do all sorts of things. The way that I kind of plan to DM this, since I'm doing my own world, it's not a module. Like I feel like I know my world pretty well. By that I mean I have a good idea as to like what's going on everywhere all at once, that kind of thing, and I typically can kind of plan around that. So I know that if you go to this part of this country, this continent, or whatever, just like on a whim, I'll have an idea as to what's going on there. I might not have like entire adventures fleshed out, but I know what's going on, so it's fine. You guys can jump around. So I definitely go with a sandbox style of play. If you guys want more rails, you can always tell me, but I try to open it up, let you do whatever you want. Now, the beginning, first few sessions, I'm going to give you like a hook or two, and I'm hoping you follow those hooks. And then at that point, it's like, all right, now you just finished the starting zone. The world is yours. Here, off in the distance, is that next like quest of the main story that you're welcome to follow, or which one. I don't do purely evil characters. I prefer to avoid that. I like let it once, and they were supposed to try to be better, and they didn't end up being better. They were very naughty the whole time. So I don't do like evil campaigns. If you play an evil character, there's plenty of good NPCs in the world that will like put their thumb on you. So I think it's important for you guys to know is that I have plenty of combat encounters that you guys can turn into roleplay encounters, and I got roleplay encounters that can get turned into like combat encounters. I can go either way. I'm never out to beat the party. Like I really want you guys to win. Like the whole point is I want you guys to have fun. I want you guys to win. But that doesn't mean that like every single like fight you get into is necessarily winnable. I don't play like wipe the group out though. I just want to like make that clear. Like if you go into a fight and it's multiple tiers above you, then it's probably not meant for you to go in and have a fight and necessarily win. Like there might be you find yourselves in a situation, and it's to try to put you in a position where you've been knocked out, that sort of thing. Like maybe there's a story element to it. Maybe you'll win, maybe not. Maybe you'll run away. Whatever the case is. But again, if I throw something at you, you're like, oh my gosh, we are just going to wipe because you put a CR 19 against us at level 4. I don't do that to wipe you guys. I don't play that way. At the same time, keep in mind if you go crazy because you walk into a room and there's a CR-19 sitting there and you're level 4, and they're like, "Oh, hi, let me start talking to you," and you're just like, "Get them!" and you attack and you try to murder something that's way beyond your capability, they might retaliate as such, and that's the most likely way that like a character is going to die. And again, kind of as for the start of the campaign, the thing to kind of remember is your character should want to adventure. I'm not going to come up with a way to instill that in you that they want to adventure. You need to at least have that little bit in your backstory. You want to adventure? Like I said, we got a starting town. Everyone's going to be meeting at the starting town. So you've heard that this is the place to go, and it's best to like be a part of a group in some regard. So as long as you come with that in mind, you'll probably be fine. All right, so that's my first section of stuff I want to go over. Anybody have any questions or want to talk about any of that?
I just want to say again that I did not know it was his house.
I know. I always have that one in mind. So the story goes real quick, just so you understand. Group goes into a cave. The cave's got lots of little traps in it and stuff. Party finds at the end of the cave a dragon. The dragon's like not real happy that they're there, so they attack. The party actually kills the dragon. It wasn't like it was too hard for them. And then a bunch of other dragons showed up and were like, "Dude, you killed our friend." And they rezzed him up like, "Why would you do that? You're in his house. You were in the wrong for coming into his house and murdering him." So yes, Devin always reminds me of that particular incident. But yes, that would be the way to look at it.
Just saying, a cave in the middle of nowhere next to a waterfall does not say house to me. But I'm not a dragon, so
There you go. All right. So again, we're doing the 2024 rules. I had put in like a little house rule as far as critical hits. Feel free to look at that. I think critical hits are something that should be hit harder. So you always get to have max damage plus roll as opposed to just roll your dice twice, because it really sucks if you're like, I have a great sword and I crit and I roll 4 dice and I roll 2 1s and 2 2s, and that sucks. And then you just do a regular hit and you roll 2 6s. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. It sucks. So crits hit hard. We're sticking with 2024 rules. Now, one thing that I really like about the DM's guide in 2024 is they mention you should follow rules as intended, and that's the way I always do things. Is like, what's the intent of the rule? For instance, the commoner railgun is like literally mentioned in the DMG, where you line up 1,000 commoners, they're 5,000 feet apart, and they all ready in action, hand an object from one to the other, and now that's just traveled 5,000 feet in 6 seconds. The last guy lets go of it, and it's traveling at like Mach 50, whatever it is, and it should blow up anything. Well, yeah, that's not the intent behind it. So I typically follow the intent behind the rules. That said, if you guys find something that's like fun to do, that's not quite in the rules, maybe using a spell in a unique way, that's fine. Go ahead, do it. We'll probably maybe get to do it one time, but then after that, I'd actually probably try to avoid it. But I don't want to like ruin the cool stuff that happened. I'll give an example. One thing I was kind of sad that didn't get allowed. We were in a giant fortress of giants, right? And like a bunch of giants are running down a hall, and I'm playing this wizard. And I'm like, I want to create a wall of force and stick it right in the middle, right in front of a giant. So it's but long ways, so they run into the thin part, and I want them to like hurt themselves on the wall. The DM didn't really allow it. So that would be an example where I'd probably say, okay, we'll let it happen this one time. Well, something cool will happen, and then after that, probably not. This is an important one. I'll mention this one again whenever I talk to anybody else. But bad guys do bad things is the point. And if there's stuff that people don't want me to get into, let me know. I don't usually get very descriptive of certain things, but if you find a group of bandits and they've kidnapped some women, they could have done like bad things to them. And I don't hide the fact that bad stuff happens in the worlds, but I don't ever go into explicit details about things, right? Like I'm not going to say, oh, they did this, this, and this, and this to this person. I'll just be like, yeah, this person was assaulted, and it's obvious, or whatever the case is. And on that same note, again, I avoid explicit content. You could walk into a room and like, hey, people are doing stuff in that corner over there, and you recognize what they're doing, but I'm not going to be explicit about it. And anytime you guys want to partake of anything like that, fine, whatever. Have relationships, a relationship with characters, whatever. But I always follow a fade to black or something like that. I'm not going to, role play most explicit materials and that sort of thing. And again, if anybody has something they really want me to avoid, if like that's even too much for you, you can let me know, and I won't include it. Like I don't really have any. There's nothing in my mind right now that says I know people are going to have a problem with this at some point. No, I'm just letting you know now that I said I faded black, but bad people do bad things. So let me know if anybody has any problems with anything. Monsters and NPCs. This one's important. That's another one I'll probably mention to people, but I don't follow strict alignments. Monsters in a book might, if they have like a standard alignment of evil, then they might have a slightly higher tendency to be that way, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are. So you might have a naughty gold dragon and a friendly red dragon, as an example. Just because they are something doesn't necessarily mean that they are evil. Goblins, for instance, they're not just evil. Most of them are tribal and not very friendly and maybe do some bad stuff and that sort of thing, less intelligent and so forth. But it doesn't mean they might not see a friendly one inside of a city or a group of them walking by. That doesn't necessarily mean, oh, monster, kill it, that sort of thing. At least that's not what the expectation is. So know that if you have like a hatred for one particular thing, like goblins is one I've seen where players are like, I absolutely hate them, I got to kill them all. I'm like, damn, are we supposed to be hating goblins? And they're like, well, they're not really necessarily evil anymore, but this one guy like was absolutely. So I'm telling you now, you can do that, but just know that it's not normal. That would basically be the same thing as being like a racist or a speciesist now, for most things. So, like Drow are more accepted into the word Duergar, that sort of thing. Those underground races are prevalent, and well, not prevalent, but they're there, and they aren't just considered evil in some way. But again, you could always have people that are like NPCs that are speciest, so to speak. You shouldn't expect monsters to follow their stat block. So if you know what a stat block is, don't expect it to be followed necessarily. I'm using the 2024 monsters, and I'll be, loading them up and using most of them. But that doesn't mean I don't want to be adjusting things. So don't be surprised if, again, goblins are a simple example. If you run into 3 goblins, you might have one with 5 hit points, one with 15, and one with 30. And the guy with 5 has an ability that's like a firebolt ability or whatever it might be that they use, and the other one can rage, whatever. I don't just 100% follow the stats of them. So if it's like I hit this guy hard, why didn't they die? Like, well, they have more hit points. Okay. Don't ever just follow stat blocks. Things have different HP, abilities, higher AC, lower AC. Some will be easier, some will be harder. But I feel that helps to change it up so you don't just know exactly what you're getting into every time. So if you go up against like a fire elemental, I'm not going to be like, haha, this fire elemental is not really immune to fire. That's the only way to hurt them. I'm not like an asshole in that way. It doesn't make any sense, but things will have slight adjustments. Yeah, I'm expecting some monsters, especially if they're like a boss monster, might have strange abilities, a different action economy. Maybe they'll have multiple reactions, do something that seems like they're broken. Like I mentioned before, I really want you guys to win, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to make things challenging and different than what's inside the books. I always like it when I go up against a monster personally, where I don't know exactly what to expect. Oh, that's a troll. I know I have to hit it with fire, and it's going to regenerate, and it's going to have 85 hit points. I mean, that's okay, but it's nice to switch it up. So I do so. All right, I'll pause there again. Anybody have any questions or anything? Hopefully not scaring anybody off yet. All right, let's see here. Going through my notes, like it took me like hours to write my notes down. I'm going through them way faster than I thought. Yeah, okay. Group cohesion. It's the little section I've got here. I expect that it's fun to role play out like having a little conflict or a little strife inside of a party, but I don't want anybody playing a character that has a purpose of screwing over the group. Like don't be a rogue that says I want to steal all the treasure and hide that from everybody. Now, if you want to play a rogue that's greedy and so they try to get more treasure, that's different than literally trying to screw over the party and saying, "Oh yeah, hey, let me join you in secret so that I can say I'm going to go in here and take everything and I never share." Again, having a greedy character, that's fine, but as long as you like can look at items that you might receive and be like, "Hey guys, I found these. These are appropriate for you or for you." Well, that's like just don't screw over your party. Don't try to kill them again unless it's certainly appropriate or if they get possessed or whatever. Yeah, then anyways, but we want to have somewhat of again, some group cohesion. Strife is certainly possible. I would also recommend that you guys discuss what you would want out of the group to make sure there's not like major clashes. So, like one example might be if somebody said, "Oh man, my character's goals are to never leave the city, to settle down, to adventure real close, and to open up a shop where I can sell hamburgers." And then somebody else says, "I want to spend as little time in the city as possible and try to explore the entire world on a ship." Like those two are probably going to have a little bit of conflict there, and not necessarily like good fun conflict. So you might want to discuss that a little bit, just in general. Make sure nobody's going to have a major problem with kind of following what other people are doing. There's a thing we want to avoid with Devin. What we don't want to do is we don't want Devin at any point to say, "Oh, I'm looking around at the group," and I say, "Are we going evil?" Right? Because he's had to say that before. Again, with the evil characters, let's try not to be evil. Yeah, it's been a while since that's it's been a while since that's come up.
I thought you were going to Devon Squared for a second. I was like,
No, not Devon Squared. Not in this case. Devon Squared is an old thing too. But we had a friend that we played with, and he very much liked to go evil. But anyhow, I played with him for a while. Also, as far as group cohesion is concerned, I figured this would be a good opportunity for you guys to talk about what your characters are, what you'd want to play. I've got a couple like fully fleshed out characters and backstories from people, which is great. I won't go into someone's backstory unless they want me to, other than like very, very generalized stuff. But I'd invite you guys to talk about it. Like I don't have a problem if everybody wants to play a rogue, right? Like that's fine. We'll adjust for it. But I know a lot of times players want to make sure that certain gaps are filled in, or that the key types of players are done. Oh, we should have someone that can be skilled, somebody that can be at the front, somebody that can support, somebody that can heal, or some variation of it. So I'd suggest you guys talk about it a little bit. And that's kind of where I was going to turn it over to you guys a little bit, give you a chance to talk about the characters you want to play. And we can kind of come up with, okay, well, hey, you and you are coming from this area. It makes sense maybe for you guys to have met up along the road. And so you could arrive together and you'll be somewhat familiar with each other, or you'll know this guy because you're both would be in the same social circles, or you'd recognize their name, that sort of thing. So I am planning to go with kind of a meetup at a tavern type start. I don't know if any of you have played Baldur's Gate 3, but played a lot of that myself, and it's got this amazing opening where you have to escape a mind flayer ship, and that's like the start of the campaign. it's just great. It's a great epic thing. And then it kind of gets a little more normal after that, where you just sort of do little things. But I'm like, wow, that's such an amazing opening. How can I start a campaign with that kind of an opening? And I kind of realized, yeah, I'm never going to be able to catch up to something like that. Some of these, professionally written books sometimes have great openings, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to try to compete with that kind of stuff. So we're going to meet at the tavern, kind of a thing. We'll lead you into the taverns, but you're not going to just literally start right in one. We'll go into the cities, and people can, like I said, kind of arrive by yourself, and then the plan is to kind of hook you up together in a tavern. So that was my spiel. I thought it'd take me 2 hours to go over, but it definitely didn't. I'll turn it over to you guys a little bit. We can talk about group.
Can you repeat it all?
Sure. All right. So the overall campaign theme. I hopefully you guys will want to talk about what your characters are. I will say this for who hasn't joined Cheems. He's a guy who said he's got the in and out at the moment. He like talked to me tons about this, so it surprised me it was an early. But he's looking to do like a warlock paladin. I don't know if he's planning to do more warlock or more paladin. Just looking at the character that he's put together so far, I think it's like paladin based, and he's actually strength based. So, he's doing some kind of a paladin warlock thing.
What level? Like, where do you anticipate this going from level 3?
So we can talk about that. I don't know. It's like, here's where we're going to stop. If you guys want to forego any side content, don't role play much, I just want to go bam, bam, bam. Let's go through this outline that you've got for the main story. It could go to like 10-ish and possibly be finished, and it could be fairly quick, assuming we leveled up fairly quick in that regard. I don't expect it to go to 20. But I could easily see this going to like levels 10 to 15, as long as people are having fun and we're enjoying this. One other thing that I'll mention, like Devin knows this, I think I've only ever once had a campaign that didn't finish. Like I actually like finish my campaigns, so you don't have to worry about me being like, all right, guys, I'm done. If I have to, I might wrap it up in a few sessions if it comes to that, but I always finish out my campaigns. I try to give characters their arc, or at least the main story, let people get through the main story, that sort of thing. Maybe any of that in the 10 to 15 range. I don't have like a set stopping point. I've got an outline for the main story, and you guys can fill it up with as much other stuff as you want.
Okay, good to know.
Anybody else have any questions?
I'm still thinking Ranger. I see what you mean about the arc. But I don't think it's that bad. I'm kind of seeing him as a backup fighter with some healing abilities.
Okay.
Doing the probably doing the Ranger with the a subclass.
There would be a subclass.
Making him, about evenly between magic and combat. Because, like Wes says, I'm usually the type of person who goes, "Where's the hole?" and then I plug it. I usually like to play utility characters if I can and fill in any needs of the group because I've been playing D&D a long time, and over the course, not to sound like an old man or anything, but over the course, I've played just about every variation of the characters. So um, I get enjoyment out of playing pretty much anything. So last time, I think in the Mad Mage, I was what, a rogue? Yeah, very utility. So,
You're like rogue wizard. I just know that you won initiative every time.
Yeah. I took that. I took that combination where I added my wisdom and my dex to my um, initiative roll. So
Nice. That's
I
pretty
was
cool.
adding like 12 to my initiative.
I've
Yeah.
got my character that I'm looking at. I think has some utility, but definitely not as much. I mean, I'm looking at a bard, but it's a melee bard with the 2024 dance subclass.
Cool.
They basically made a dancing monk bard, more or less. So, so definitely capable of like helping bring people back up with healing word and whatnot, but not a heavy healer or really a heavy buffer. Just given bard spells, they're not really the buffiest of spells.
Cool.
All right. So current plan, we got the ranger. Sounds like you're doing kind of typical ranger, range DPS, shoot things, do some spells. Dancing bard could be up front, can provide support. The paladin warlock, which probably is going to be a frontliner.
I would imagine, yeah. Can't imagine a
If
paladin not
he's a
being a
paladin
frontliner.
going strength, I would imagine he'd want to be on the front line.
Yeah, well, and he went strength in his character, so imagine so.
I think you've convinced me to lean more towards this fighter build I put together after the little discussion we had over the weekend there. The Silver Spire stuff. I kind of want to go
Yeah, okay.
that route. So, yeah.
All right, so I can talk like it gives open information. I can give you more about it, but so yeah, on this continent is a place called the Silver Spire, and it's like everybody knows it exists. Um, kind of, I guess. I mean, I don't know if if you know this group or not, but have you ever heard of like the Freemasons here in the U.S.?
Yes.
Okay.
I just went to one of their pancake breakfasts this weekend.
Okay, right. So, like for me and a lot of people, we know that the Freemasons exist. Are they really Masons? I don't know. They do stuff. They have little lodges, and so like somebody who knows about them like knows all about them. But like, to most laymen, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's a group. It's kind of the same way as that. It's like the Silver Spire. It's known that you are trained in psionics there. How you get in, what you learn, what comes out isn't necessarily known. Not the people that are inside. Most people don't go in. People that do go in typically only go in like the first couple of floors. But it is essentially this 40-story spire that's only like 60-ish so feet of wide or whatever. I mean, it's this design is this very thin, tall, almost like an obelisk of what it looks like sterling silver on the outside, basically this mirrored finish to it. Slight twist design to it, and you could certainly originate from there, put you close to town, and otherwise there's a small there's like a little bit of a small town around it, not a whole lot, but it's some farmers and some other stuff that kind of make a little bit of a living off of people that travel in and out of the area, or they'll sell their goods to the people that live inside the Silver Spire. But it is filled with quite a few people. Tons of stores, tons of floors to it, schools involved. But yeah, if you go psionic, that would be a certain place to go to, and I can give you more direct information about it.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely where I'm leaning. I guess my question to you would be: is this somewhere I would have already visited and maybe gotten a little bit of information about, or is this something I would need to pursue in the future?
With your backstory, um, you the way that I would probably expect it to be is that you were able to um, you would have already been there and like literally like paid a tuition to get in.
Okay, sure.
Unless that doesn't work and you want to aspire towards it so that you could like get in on your own, that would be fine as well too. That's kind of up to you. I can give you information. Hopefully, this is my first time using this new setup. Did you guys jump to the map?
It is very dark, but yes.
There you go. Just turn off dynamic lighting. How about now?
See it.
Good to go.
Cool. You guys should be able to also move your little party token that I put together. The little D&D symbol. It's over towards the bottom right. If anybody wants to, there you go. Yep, great. So you can move that around. So over here, that's the Silver Spire, so it's not too far. The our bard would be coming from all the way up here. It doesn't mean you necessarily had to. I'm not saying you have to take a trek to it, but if that's where you're, kind of where your starting areas, you could be taking your time. You could have gotten a level or so as you were traveling down, but that's the place you would be familiar with based on your backstory. Devin, any thoughts? You know my world pretty well. Any thoughts on what you would like to do? Kind of like to start things off. I mean, I can roll the dice and throw you somewhere.
I don't know. I was figuring he'd be from the woodland area. Other than that, I haven't really put too much. And obviously, he's come here to adventure. But beyond that, so I mean, I could be one of the forested areas on this continent, or one of the other continents.
Okay. Oh yeah, I will mention this too. While I was saying, because Devin mentioned that you played a tree man before, so I've got this race of Sylvans. They come from across the sea for the most part, but I've got plenty of races that I built myself. Trying to taper them down because 5e kind of released a bunch on its own. We're sticking with the 2024 rules, but if you want to play something that's a little bit different, you can. I gave the example of Tridimus Prime or whatever. It was a joke, but I was serious at the same time. Where, if you wanted to play a Warforged that's a moon druid that transforms into the vehicles out of Avernus or whatever, like that's a crazy concept, but it's doable, right? Like you could just say, okay, my Warforged mechanics are actually, it'll use the human PHB stats, and the shapes that he transforms into are based off of, every time it's going to be based off of a beast. It's the exact same thing. It's just being described differently. So you can certainly do that. So I've been talking to my son on the side. This is like the fourth time I've run into this. He's like messaged me at midnight at my time with just like asking me questions because he's out on the West Coast now. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. You woke me up, but that's okay. I'll answer your questions. So he's like been forgetting about time zones. And so I was like, hey, just wondering if you're ready to hop in or anything tonight. And he's like, oh, did it already start? He forgot about time zones and was thinking it was at his time. So he's not able to join tonight, and he's going to see what it's like next week. So we'll see. But when we had talked, he was thinking about doing my Sylvan race, and he was just going to use a 2024 character, and he was going to do an artificer with it that was going to be like plant themed as opposed to mechanical themed. So like anything like that is possible too. So you can go crazy if you want to. You definitely don't have to.
I'm gonna be a human. No, I'm kidding. Like the absolute definition of not crazy.
Humans are totally fine. Humans are crazy, man.
Yeah. They're not racist.
Yeah, in every fantasy and sci-fi world, they populate like bunnies, so they take over the world.
Right. Me and my family took over this world. We will take over the world.
Yeah, it's slightly unrelated, but I saw like a Star Trek meme one time where, what was it? I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. But it's like the Romulans were talking to each other, and they're like, "Why is it you guys don't just go in there and kill all the humans?" And they're like, "Are you kidding? The humans are crazy. Just last week, somebody like retrofitted their warp core to do some sort of techno babble that nearly tore the universe in half, and then they fixed it 8 hours later by the power of friendship or something like that. It's like, yeah, it's true. Humans do all the crazy stuff. Yeah. So looking at the map here, like I said, there is plenty of options for anything, and you don't have to. You could even say you're from the starting location. That's fine too. Caveman. I think you're talking about being from Theshaden. It's over there. The island over here. That's kind of the large island over to the right hand side. The island's name itself is Thesh. It used to be a part of the main continent, but it broke away. Theshaden kind of went with it. So it certainly got a lot of damage. Being from there is totally fine. If, like I said, if like you guys ever go to Theshaden, then you would have insight into it. We're looking to have like a known family name. That's fine as well. It just, how grandiose do you want the name to be? Because I was kind of mentioning you could have it be something that's like so broad that some of the world's going to look at it favorably and some of it's going to look at it negatively, but most people are going to like know the name. Like I guess an American example would be like the Kennedys. Everybody knows if you say the last name of Kennedy, you're talking about a politician family, or most likely a politician family. And some people will think, oh, yeah, Kennedys are great. Some people are like, Kennedys are awful. So it could be like that.
Yep, that was pretty much my idea. They've kind of spread across the land, are very kind of populate small patches of every town civilization, with a lot of like influence, especially politically. And like you say, the name could ring good, it could ring bad. Uh, the family members I would have that do kind of lean towards the bad side or evil side, often try and get swept under the rug pretty quickly, but they're definitely out there. They try and maintain a positive outlook of that family name, as it is so well known.
All right. That works. Cheems, his character was planning to have a noble background as well. He was going to, it's very different backstory, but still a noble background. He was from Nevelton, which is up there, number 4. Trying to see, like, you guys would probably like recognize each other's names. Not like, I mean, it's not like you would know them each other directly or personally, but you would have it's like, oh, I know you, or I've heard of your family. Let's see here. Give me some info. All right, so one of my houses in there, Adramir, House Adramir, wealthy family out of Nevelton. So we can bring that up if he ever gets his internet back.
It's good.
Yeah, so you guys would probably know each other. You would recognize each other's names. Whether or not you would act on that, of course, is on your own. But it's not like you would have. I wouldn't expect you guys to have like a rival or anything like that. You're welcome to. But it's very different. Like yours is a little more into the idea of political power and trade routes, that sort of thing. Where his family's background is in basically land management up there in Nevelton. Nevelton is it's a small city, but it's got a lot of wealth. It would be like they have their own little Beverly Hills in it, so it makes sense for them to be there. Theshaden is kind of would be similar, that it's got a lot of wealth to it, but it's also kind of like think of whatever like your biggest cities are. I don't know. I don't know what Montreal's like, but like Los Angeles. Los Angeles is huge, and it's got multiple like little cities inside a part of it or whatever. So you can go from an incredibly wealthy neighborhood to an incredibly poor neighborhood with tons of homeless outside, that sort of thing. That's what the city's like. It's all everything. Let's see what else would be helpful. We talked about our bard in Ulwich. Ulwich it's like 50 or 60% underground, 40% above ground. Oh, something just caught on fire. That's a nice effect. They've improved their effects in Jumpgate. Yeah, which has, like I said, about 60% of the city is underground. It's not. It doesn't have much in the way of the like wealthy neighborhoods like the others I was mentioning, but it does have quite a few drow family that would have like the matriarch would be there and they would have a decent amount of money and so forth. That does connect to a lot of cave systems that go further underground, leading more in towards the into the continent. You don't know how far they stretch. They're not exactly something that people go into all that often. You know that you could have smugglers and so forth that might utilize it. The people that typically will be traveling them aren't don't have the most scruples. So any upstanding member of the community is likely to not head those that way. They usually, if they're traveling, are going to come out from the underground, which is it's like if you could see it from the sea. Like there's a huge opening of the lower level that and then stairs that lead up to the upper level, the above ground section. So it's kind of almost like this two tiered city. Not huge by any means, but decent number of people that are there. So those are all some decent little chunks of information for you guys for those areas. And if you were to, we could talk about it more if you want to. I'm happy to get into it. But if you guys were like going to go to Thessalon, for instance, then I could be like, all right, Gabe, man, here's your page of information on Thessalon that'll help you be able to navigate a little bit and know what's going on. Or if you're going to Polwich or the Silver Spire or anything else that people are familiar with, I'm like, okay, yep, here you go. I'm trying to remember what stuff I typed out that I gave you guys and what I didn't give you guys. This big giant forest area that is literally called the Elven Forest. That's kind of in the middle over there towards the left. It's predominantly populated with elves. That's always been called the Elven Forest, even though other people are in there as well. Ulmanor is an elvish capital. So if you wanted to, anybody could be coming from there. It's just like, whereas most of the world is populated with 50 to 90% humans, that's 75, 80% elves. Yeah, if you're from that area, like you would know of other little towns and cities that are inside of that heavily forested area. And of course, some of you guys could all come from another continent entirely too. You'd be like, I stowed away on a ship and I ended up here. That's fine. I don't care. You guys just let me know. Yeah. So our bard and pally warlock, like you guys would have a very good chance of meeting up together. Like if I was going to suggest who might find each other beforehand, the bard and pally would be coming from the same area. They'll be passing along that same road, likely the one along the east coast. And there's roads on the map, but they're not the only roads. There's plenty of other little ones and little towns and that sort of thing. These are just major landmarks because it's a continent. All right, I'm rambling. Questions, you guys, or anything you'd like to discuss?
I can be performing at whatever tavern we end up starting at.
Okay, that's fair.
Traveling through.
Yes, I'll be from the Elven Forest. That works.
All right, that works too. I will throw this one out there for you, Devin. I think you might be saying this to others around there. There is an Unearthed Arcana Ranger that just came out, and if I was going to play Ranger, it would be that one. But they're not necessarily a ranged Ranger. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I'll send the link. Show you a link. Okay, they're calling these horror subclasses. The Ranger one, to me, looked really cool. Hollow Warden, page 5. They basically they get they get to add their wisdom bonus. They cast Hunter's Mark, and it gives them an AC bonus equal to their wisdom modifier. So it's kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Blade Singer. But the idea is that it's supposed to like vines and stuff are wrapping around you or something ghostly. It would be interesting if you like this one, and we figured out a way to put it into Roll20. There's a little town inside this forest you would be familiar with. You'd know it's there. People from there avoid it. It's a little town called Morthon, which you probably know what I mean when I say that. So being from there, or not there specifically, but like passing through it, hunting around it, whatever the case may be, it would be appropriate to be this little horror subclass. So yeah, something to think about. Because as soon as I read this, I was like, "Oh, this is such a cool subclass."
Hello, Gordon.